Central Indiana taking another big step to establish itself as the Silicon Valley of the Midwest. IU President Pam Whitten explains how a new research designation for IU Indianapolis fits into the plan. Plus,
very simply, it's if they charge us, we charge them.
A Northeast Indiana powerhouse weighs in on the impact of potential tariffs. Also,
I've spent my entire adult life trying to recapture the way I felt the summer of 1970.
Hey, Kenny, where's the fire? Softball game, Kendall's Field. It's gonna be all boys. So what are we waiting for?
A Hollywood cult classic inspired by a small Indiana city being celebrated 30 years later. More on Winchester's connection then, and now to now and then. And
work and work.
Well, those cars never seem to stop coming.
Work and work.
Keep those bags and machines humming.
Indiana's family business tie to getting your car clean. We get the inside story of how Crew Carwash became an industry leader.
Hey, it's your car wash today.
Inside Indiana Business is next.
You don't have to pay.
From Indiana's business news leader, this is IBJ Media's Inside Indiana Business with Gary Dick. Presented by Elevate Ventures and Indiana University.
Hello and welcome to Inside Indiana Business. I'm Gary Dick, coming to you this week from the 16 Tech Innovation District on the near northwest side of downtown Indianapolis. In fact, you can see the skyline here. We're about 2 miles northwest of Monument Circle. This 50-acre innovation district had been really talked about for decades. Rather slow to develop for a variety of reasons, but that is changing in a big way. 16 Tech now includes some 200 companies with 1,000 employees. A mix of innovation, research, and co-working space here. By 2030, it is projected that 16 Tech will include more than 3 million square feet of office, lab, retail, and residential space, and will be home to more than 3,000 jobs. And this week, major news for Indiana University, Indianapolis that will have an impact on 16 Tech and beyond.
Indiana University is launching an initiative so transformative that it will change the very landscape of our capital city and state.
IU Indianapolis has been designated an R1 institution by the Carnegie Foundation, putting IU's Indianapolis campus among the elite research institutions in the nation. A designation validating a bold move by IU to create what President Pam Whitten calls the nation's premier urban research institution, stretching from an emerging sci-tech corridor on the Indy campus to the planned IU Launch Accelerator for Biosciences, or IU Lab, at the 16 Tech Innovation District.
We've said all along we want to be the best urban research university in the country, and the next step is having the whole country know that indeed we are a research institution at the highest level. With this new classification, now we're actually able to put our brand on that.
To support that lofty vision, IU is investing more than $250 million in a biosciences initiative aimed at making the state a global leader in cutting-edge research and innovation and a magnet for top talent.
We now have in Indianapolis the university that we need to really propel the city and the state forward. And, you know, we are so fortunate. We have a wealth of riches in terms of universities in our state, right? I mean, we have an R1 university in Bloomington, Indiana, through IU. We have an R1 university housed in West Lafayette through Purdue. We have an R1 university in South Bend, through Notre Dame. And now we have the first and only R1 university in Indianapolis. And this is a gateway for partnership with industry. This is a gateway to bring in, just world-class faculty that want to work at an R1 institution. And then, of course, it's also an entry point to bring just exceptional students in who want to work. And our goal is then stay in Indianapolis after they graduate from IU.
And the vision extends beyond the Indianapolis campus and 16 Tech.
We are talking and working on a corridor from Crane to Bloomington that's happening right now with the expanded work going on there. We are certainly talking now about the corridor that will expand from Bloomington to Indianapolis to this new base. Obviously, there's work from Indianapolis North as well. And so truly the future for our state of Indiana is very exciting.
And as President Whitten mentioned, the new IU Lab scheduled to open, if all goes well, in 2027. Well, 16 Tech certainly will serve as a game changer to put Indianapolis on the map as a national hub for the life sciences. When we come back, we'll take a deeper dive into what the initiative is all about and how it will bring together education, research, and development. That is a bird's eye view of the 16 Tech Innovation District here on the near northwest side of downtown Indianapolis. The Lilly Endowment putting more air under 16 Tech's wings with a $138 million grant to Indiana University to build the state-of-the-art bioscience hub we talked about at the top of the show. And the man in charge at IU Lab is former Indiana Secretary of Commerce David Rosenberg, the president and CEO of IU Lab. David, thanks as always.
You can't get away from me, but it's always fun to join you.
I know.
Yeah.
A very different role now and a very important role. First of all, the R1 designation for IU Indianapolis. How important is that?
It's huge, not only from the aspect of additional funding opportunities that it opens up, but also that marketing perspective for students, researchers, faculty, and industry alike.
Yeah, and I know President Whitten talked about in our first segment creating this preeminent urban research institution, and that's a big part of what you'll be doing.
Absolutely. We really want to be the front door for where academia meets industry to really have a sandbox for all the incredible assets. It's really the right time, the right place, the right corridor where we really can find that next discovery, commercialize that next product, and train the life science leaders of the future.
There's going to be a lot going on in this building. Give us an idea, kind of a thumbnail sketch of all of the activity that once this thing opens, we'll be seeing.
Yeah, thanks to the really generous gift of $138 million from the Lilly Endowment, we're going to build a facility here on 16 Tech's campus that will have academic space, classrooms, Luddy School of Informatics and their BMEI program will be housed here, along with School of Medicine, Kelly School of Sciences. We'll also tie into the incredible world-class researchers and faculty from IU in those schools to develop the research that's going to happen into industry. We'll have an incubator and accelerator space for startups and really how to grow those type of companies. And we'll also have key industry players here that are sponsoring studios or research with the IU faculty. Again, the goal is how do we discover that next innovation, commercialize that product, and train those life science leaders of the future.
In terms of the geographic proximity, the literal connection to the IU Med Center, the connection to downtown Indianapolis and the business community, how important is that piece?
It's huge. When you look, in a 2-mile radius around 16 Tech's campus, where you have the largest school of medicine, one of the largest health networks with IU Health, you have the largest pharmaceutical company in the world. But it's not just Indy-based. We're looking out to Warsaw with the orthopedic capital of the world. We're looking near the airport with the neuroscience and targeted medicine approach there, the Fisher's Life Science Cluster. It's going to be a hub, but there's going to be a lot of spokes that tie into what industry is looking for and how we look 10 or 15 years down the road.
I know there's going to be a focus, too, on impact in the neighborhood and the neighboring area here as well.
Yeah, a very big push of the Lilly Endowment and 16 Tech. How can we be an open door to the neighborhoods and the community to invite them in? How can we do upskilling and credentialing, increase access to healthcare, reduce health inequalities? That's a big focus of the lab as well.
All right. I know things are still very fluid, but give us an idea of construction and when you hope to open things.
Yeah, the IU Lab is open for business now. And so we're working with industry and IU faculty all throughout those schools I mentioned. You have the IU School of Medicine, Luddy School of Informatics, Kelly School of Business, the School of Sciences, and others to open up that programming with the incubator and accelerator with industry partners. We're looking at breaking ground this time next year and then an opening in fall of 2027 to have students there housed for classes.
David Rosenberg, the president and CEO of the IU Lab. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Gary.
All right. Well, the IU Lab, not the only thing in the works here at 16 Tech. Business of Health reporter Kylie Valletta joins me later in the show for more on that. But first, let's send it back to the studio and Mary Rachel Redmond with a look at business news making headlines around Indiana.
Here's what's making news around Indiana. Brought to you by the Indiana Association of Realtors. Indiana's 21,000 realtors. The neighbors you know, the experts you can count on.
The CEO of Fort Wayne-based Do It Best is raising concerns about the potential impact of tariffs on products from Canada and Mexico. Dan Starr says tariffs will have an immediate impact because Do It Best purchases millions of dollars of lumber from Canada. And the increased cost then drives up prices across the board. In anticipation of the tariffs, Starr says some are already bringing in extra inventory.
Anything you can think of for sale in a hardware store, much of it comes in from manufacturing processes overseas. We actually anticipated some of this at the end of 2024 and started bringing in additional product as a hedge against this potential action. So I think that's part of what a lot of folks are doing, not just Do It Best.
For more tariff coverage and other Indiana industries that could be impacted, check out ibj.com. Well, a popular festival in Northeast Indiana is officially canceled for 2025 after its board voted to file for bankruptcy this week. The Three Rivers Festival has been a staple in Fort Wayne since 1969, but a crowdfunding campaign set up to support the event raised less than 1% of its goal. Our news partners at WPTA are reporting the festival is actively working to come back in 2026. The city of Noblesville taking a victory lap after landing a major motorsport deal that will bring more than 200 new jobs to Hamilton County. Evolve Transporters investing $39 million to move its Ohio headquarters to Noblesville. Evolve makes transporters for Central Indiana-based race teams like Andretti Autosport and Rahal Letterman Lanigan. Still ahead for you, the Fort Wayne Fishers connection to getting the shine on your drive.
At the car wash.
How Crew Carwash has grown to become one of the biggest operations of its kind in the country and why it's one of the best places to work.
New Line Cinema presents Christina Ricci and Rosie O'Donnell as Roberta.
You're a woman on the verge. It's like a volcano ready to erupt.
The coming-of-age classic, Now and Then. Hollywood heavy hitters like Demi Moore, Rosie O'Donnell, and a young Christina Ricci all starred in the movie about growing up in a small Hoosier town called Shelby, Indiana. While Shelby may be fictional, the film is actually based on the real Indiana town of Winchester. To celebrate the 30th anniversary of the movie, the city is putting on a multi-day event in June called Now and Then Days. And it's already generating interest from people around the world and even from some of the stars themselves. The small, whimsical city of Winchester, Indiana, brought to life on the big screen.
Now and Then.
Every post we put out, people mention that's their favorite movie.
That I've thought about this day, dreamed about this day, for as long as I can remember.
We've heard from people all over the world. We knew it was special to us, but I really had no idea this was so special to so many people.
I've spent my entire adult life trying to recapture the way I felt the summer of 1970.
Now and Then made its box office debut in 1995 and featured an ensemble cast that boasted some of the biggest female stars in Hollywood. But the woman responsible for writing the actual story is a Winchester native.
The one, the only Marlene King.
Who's gone on to have quite the Tinseltown career.
Marlene was born here. My house was actually behind her house in the Gaslight Edition. My understanding, it's kind of a story of her and probably a lot of my neighborhood girls growing up, chasing boys and boys chasing them.
Come and get 'em, suckers! Ah! Nuts!
She was able to write that screenplay based on that few summers here in Winchester. It's just special.
Wallace, in lockstep with the mayor, is gearing up for Now and Then Days in June.
We can't offer Hollywood. We can't offer Disney World, but it's like we can offer Winchester, where we kind of theorize things happened, recreating those moments.
30 years on, the spirit of Now and Then continues to live on in Winchester. And the hope is this multi-day event in June will draw tourists from all over, looking to pay homage to their favorite movie. And the writer of Now and Then, Marlene King, will be coming into town for the event in June and perhaps maybe, just maybe, bringing a cast member along with her. Well, stay tuned. Well, let's send it back out to Gary at 16 Tech in Indianapolis for a Hoosier business success story with a Now and Then theme. Gary?
Well, a very interesting story out of Winchester impacting Eastern Indiana and beyond. Thanks for that, Mary Rachel. Now, on to a story involving a 3-generational Indiana family-owned business steamrolling the competition when it comes to washing away the grime on your car.
At the car wash.
Nearly 30 years before this classic song hit the charts,
Well, those cars never seem to stop coming. Work and work.
the Dom family, innovators from Fort Wayne, had a good handle on how to make a business out of getting bugs off the windshield, grime off the doors, and salt out from under the car. They set up the first automated car wash in Indiana.
1948, downtown Fort Wayne. We're all full service for 20 years. They'd pull up, get out of the car, we'd wash it, and then get back in. When we first started out, we were one of the first in the country. Cars had bumpers on the front. We put a hook on the front bumper and pulled them through. Now you couldn't even think about doing that.
Those chains to drag your car through for a bath? Gone. The Doms had a better idea. They pioneered the sit in your car and go through the car wash way of clean.
Customers loved it.
My friends at IU, they said, Joe, I hear you quit school. What are you going to do? I said, wash cars.
That's Sally Grant's grandpa, Joe Dom. He founded the business, and now Sally is part of the third-generation family leadership driving Crew Carwash success, which over the last 77 years has grown into one of the largest car wash chains in the country.
As a kid, it was so inspiring to see your grandfather and your dad so passionate and excited about building a brand that was really, it was centered all around taking care of your team, and then they're going to take good care of the customers. My grandfather got that all the way back in 1948, and he always had a saying, we're really in the people business. We just happen to wash cars.
Who knew that using water, soap, and dryers to clean a car could lead to a $750 million business, and one that lands Crew on Glassdoor's list of one of the top 2 best places to work, with a big footprint. Its headquarters in Fishers.
We're just honored that we would come in number 2. It was our 6th year on the list. It truly is a testament to our people because they're the ones that are going to Glassdoor and sharing, their experiences working at Crew.
Much more with Crew Car Wash Executive Vice President Sally Grant in this week's Business and Beyond podcast. You can find it starting Monday at InsideIndianaBusiness.com. Well, coming up next, bridging a biosciences gap in central Indiana, literally. How a new bridge over the White River here at 16 Tech is making a stronger connection to IU Health.
Time now for our Eye on Education, brought to you by PNC Bank.
The Orr Fellowship, really described as a gem when it comes to attracting, developing, and retaining talent in the state. And there's a new study out with some big numbers to back that up. A look now at the impact of the Orr Fellowship.
So we're really able to see Tobo and the business quality.
She's one of 1,200 future business leaders from over 60 universities applying to be an Orr Fellow. It's an initiative that's been part of the Central Indiana business landscape for nearly 25 years. Here's how the Orr Fellowship works. College graduates apply, a select few are chosen, and then they're paired with partner companies that hire them as paid employees. Cohorts like Carmel native Xavier Ramirez, an IU grad, now working for his alma mater.
I'm somebody where I have a lot of different interests and I want to be able to explore and grow those for my future career. And Orr doesn't lock you into only doing one thing. It allows you to get as involved as you want. And so we really encourage people stepping outside of their comfort zone and exploring and learning more.
Keeping young talent like Xavier close to home is a big priority for IU, an Orr Fellowship partner.
The networking impact is significant. And the hope is, at least from an IU perspective and our participation in the program, that the types of relationships that Xavier is able to build and to nurture will help build roots that will keep them within Indiana for many, many years to come.
A new study by Indianapolis-based consulting firm TPMA showing how the Orr Fellowship is paying off in a big way.
Our alumni every year are producing a little over $20 million, $23.3 million in tax revenue for the state. And that's a really big deal because that's really money in the bank that's being produced year in and year out. That those alumni, we retain about 60% of them across time. They're here, they're building lives, and they're meaningful contributors to this Indiana economy.
The program now has a presence in Evansville, partnering with companies like Old National Bank and Toyota Motor Manufacturing Indiana.
It's easy to write off Indiana as a possibility, especially when you're young and you see the allure of like a Chicago or a New York or California coastline. All those things are real and we don't doubt that. But we believe there's a great life worth living here in Indiana, and our mission is to show them what that might look like and support the business community as we go.
For OR fellows like Xavier Ramirez, the program is a life changer.
You only have 2 years. And so if they give you the door, it's your responsibility to walk through it and make the most of it. And you can create a powerful community, a powerful network, and a powerful career through being able to engage in this program.
And get this, OR fellow alumni start an estimated 20% of the new businesses in Indiana and engage civically some 40% of the time. Well, wrapping up where we started this week at the 16 Tech Innovation District, Business of Health reporter Kylie Valletta joins me now with details on how this cutting-edge campus has grown dramatically over the past 5 years.
Well, that's right, Gary. You know that 16 Tech was founded on the vision of bringing research and industry together in one place. And now with IU Indianapolis getting a Tier 1 research designation, the snowball is building.
The investments that IU and Purdue are making in Indianapolis are extraordinary.
The now separate universities downtown are building momentum for the city. IU Indianapolis earning Tier 1 research designation checks a major box. For the first time, the city is home to a Tier 1 research university. And Purdue enhances Indy's Tier 1 stature by being part of the West Lafayette campus.
Having a Tier 1 research university has been a long-term aim of the city of Indianapolis, and it's part of creating credibility for our ecosystem. What it often means is that private industry investment follows the university investment.
And IU's investment at 16 Tech is major. A 6-story state-of-the-art building focused on the biosciences is in the works.
2025 is going to be a banner year for 16 Tech.
A milestone just months away, the 16 Tech Bridge will open in April, connecting the Innovation District to Eskenazi Hospital and Riley Hospital for Children, and more broadly, the IU School of Medicine and IU Health's new medical campus under construction.
From the very beginning, our vision and our master plan has included increasing the connectivity to downtown, and especially the connectivity to IU Indianapolis and Purdue in Indianapolis, as well as the hospitals to our south. So the bridge makes that physical connection easy.
And not just for traffic, but people. The bridge is expected to increase the flow of young students, faculty, and neighbors in the West Side area.
The bridge is a metaphor in many respects. That bridge physically connects us, but it also symbolizes the importance of the work that we're doing in terms of bringing together our industry partners, our university partners, talent, and community.
And a portion of that bridge is being set aside for pedestrians only, and it will plug into the Indianapolis Cultural Trail.
And that really gets to the livability quotient here, which I know is an important part of 16 Tech.
Yes, and getting a major shot in the arm as far as livability. The Vanguard apartment complex is set to open in April, and so the livability piece, that's big here. It's the first residential project here.
All right, Kylie, thanks very much. Well, that's all the time we have for this week's show. We leave you this week with this. We are one day closer to spring, and that means the Sandhill cranes are making their way back to Northwest Indiana. Enjoy this DNR video from the Jasper-Pulaski Wildlife Area in Northwest Indiana. I'm Gary Dick. Thanks for joining us. Go out and make it a successful week.